Nightwing number 23, written by Kyle Higgins, art by Will Conrad. So, last issue we had Nightwing doing his thing, more or less, and then, what's his name? Prankster came out and basically called out the mayor for embezzling funds and keeping Tony Zuko safe. And so he held the entire city hostage along with a bunch of cops that were held at gunpoint. So, this issue is some amount of time later, we see that a bunch of pranksters' goons are being beaten up by Nightwing on top of this building. And there's this woman outside who, her name in this is, let me see, Danielle. Nightwing talks about her as if she's a character that we've met before. I don't know her. So I'm just going to say she's a new character. But regardless, Danielle's slipping outside this window. He's fighting more and more of the goons, throwing out one-liners constantly. Danielle finally slips. Nightwing dives off the building and says, hey, Danielle, don't you go leaving me yet. And he swoops down, he saves her, and she gives him a big kiss, saying thank you so much. And he's just like, oh, well, do what I can. So at that point, we see one of the goons has been tied up. And Nightwing's like, okay, here's the thing. I know that it's you, Danny, because your dreads are stupid. And I just want to know where Prankster held himself up. I will let you fall, though. Do not think I will not do that. And so he basically pushes and pushes Danny, and Danny eventually gives up the location, which is a old brewery on 25th Street. And he's like, there you go. Wasn't that so hard, Danny? Leave for the cops, though. Bye. So we see all of the things that Prankster has done over the past couple days. We see that one of 5 officers escaped the room filled with guns, and then we never get back to that. So I don't know if that was just done with, and the rest of them are dead. Who knows? Lights in the city were overloaded. A Ferris wheel was set on fire. Whole city's on lockdown, and people are protesting, telling the mayor, like, dude, just give them the money, for God's sakes. And of course, the mayor stands up and is just like, yeah, no, all of those are false. I didn't take any money. Tony Zuko is not safe. And then the news reporter who's saying all this is like, Tony Zuko, here seen, looking exactly like that guy Billy, is a man who killed the Flying Graysons. And we see Joey, if you remember, Joey is the roommate, is on the news talking with Michael, the other roommate, saying like, oh, geez, saying that this guy killed Dick's parents. Dick is, of course, living with us. I haven't seen him in like 5 days. What in the hell's going on around here? And Michael's like, yeah, I don't know. Just try tracking his phone or something. I'm busy with the police. I got to go. So turns out the police have brought him down because, of course, that one detective wants him to catch Nightwing in the act, more or less. And as they're investigating the brewery, because they all got there before Nightwing, Prankster set his computer to be basically a trap. So when they tried to get into it, it turned on a machine that immediately caused an explosion and just killed like everybody there. Like everyone there is dead except for Michael, who is grabbed by Prankster, and he's like, oh, hey, one of you survived. Well, you're going to be part of my next prank. So he grabs up Michael. We see Nightwing arrives soon afterwards. He sees that the detective who's after him also managed to survive. And he's like, hey, what's going on? What's happening? It's like, oh, they took Michael, something about a boat. And he looks back and he's like, oh, it's Nightwing. I hate you. And he's like, whatever, dude. I'm going to go deal with this thing that you clearly caused. So back in Gotham, we see that Sonia Branch, the daughter of Tony Zuko, is being accosted because of all the things going on in Chicago. Meanwhile, she's just now finding out that her father is alive. She's just like, what? What are you talking about? That's insane. Or no, not alive. Is at the center of all of this craziness in Chicago. So then we cut to Wisconsin, where Zuko is, of course, on vacation with his family. His wife comes in and is like, hey, should I call you... Sorry, what's his fake name here? Billy. Should I call you Billy or should I call you Tony? And he's like, oh, I did so much to distance myself from that life. You have to understand. And she's like, no, I understand that you're a good man. Like, I get that. It's why you're the man I married. But you've been lying. You've been lying this whole... How many people have you even killed? And, like, what kind of father is a liar like that to his son? Like, you've been teaching him this whole week about personal responsibility, and you can't even own up to your own mistakes of what's going on in Chicago. And he's like, baby, if we go back to Chicago, we are definitely going to die. And it's like, it's better than all the people that are currently dying there now, all because of you. Like, own up to your mistakes. So back in Chicago, we see the boat prank is a yacht that Prankster has put a bunch of people on, and he pours some gas in the water and then lights a flare that catches it on fire. So that's happening. We see some people are inside the mayor's office basically saying, like, look, we don't care about the Tony Zuko thing. We don't even care if you took the money, but like, find the money and give it to him. And he's like, I don't have it. It's not, I didn't take the money. And he's like, yeah, okay, sure. Just like you don't Tony Zuko. We've all met Billy, dude. We've all seen him. So back on the boat, we see the people in the jet ski that are pranksters people are watching the fire go up as everyone screams for help. And then Nightwing comes up on a speedboat and he's like, I got a bigger boat. And he swims over to the boat underneath the fire. He gives people some rebreathers and says, like, all right, one at a time, jump over and follow me back to the boat. So then in the office, we see a bunch of all the people who are yelling at the mayor, telling him to basically do what they need to do and submit to the prankster. They just get shot. Their chests are just blown open. And as the mayor tries to run outside the room, he sees that the prankster is standing there like, hey, how have you been? So finally we get Nightwing. He gets all the people off the burning boat, delivers them back to the shore. He's out of breath. He's tired. Everyone runs off. And a voice comes up and he's like, now here's the thing. Before you say or do anything, I know who Prankster is. And in this case, things are going to get worse before they get better. So you and me need to work together. And we see that the voice is none other than Tony Zuko talking to Nightwing, saying that they need to team up. Because of course we did. Of course we have this moment where it's like the dude who he came here originally for teams up with him to fight against the bigger bad guy. I'm in. I like it. I mean, I've liked this whole arc, I feel like. It has been a bit slower paced at times, but this was a perfectly fine issue. It's really building up the... I do think this probably could have been 2 issues, if I'm being honest, in that it only took 1 page to say, and then Prankster did all these horrible things. Like, if we took the time to really build out how desperate Chicago was getting to get rid of Prankster, I'd be so much more down. But this is fine. We needed to get to the point, and here we are. So I'm going to give this one I'll give it a 7.5. The only thing stopping me from the 8 is that I feel like there are a few things in previous issues, and also the Michael and Joey stuff, that just they were put in place but have no apparent payoff. Maybe we'll get there, but it doesn't even feel like they're building anymore. That and the fact that like all these other costumed heroes were killed years ago in Chicago, that all that just seems like it went by the wayside. If it's for the sake of it'll come up later, so be it. But it does feel like it's a little bit like, why did we do that before if we're not going to get back to it now? So 7.5.